Is this a trap game for the Minnesota Vikings? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Seatman, here to deliver you guys my official Week 8 preview for Thursday Night Football as the Minnesota Vikings travel across the country to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Now, before we dive into it, we need to get the good vibes going. The Vikings are coming off a loss versus the Detroit Lions, so if you guys want the Vikings to beat those Rams this weekend, hit that thumbs up icon. I put the goal as 1,000 likes. We should crush that out of the park, so hit that thumbs up button if you guys want the Vikings to catch a big-time victory this Thursday. So what are we talking about on today's show? Number one, is this a trap game for the Vikings? I have a very telling stat that should indicate that the Vikings should lose this game. And then we're also going to be deep diving on the Los Angeles Rams, what has led to their 2-4 start so far this season. Then I got my 5 keys to victory and then also my official score prediction at the end of today's show. But why do I call this a trap game for the Minnesota Vikings? So this stat, and I'm about to show you guys talking about the Lions hangover. Now, I feel like this is something that a lot of these media heads are going to start kind of turning their heads on and be more familiar with this. So pretty much set it up like this. The Lions schedule so far. They placed the Rams, Buccaneers, Cardinals, and Seahawks. And then the Cowboys, they had their bye the following week. But all 4 of these teams that they played in the first 4 weeks of the season, what did they do the week after they played the Lions? Well, right here, the Lions hangover is what we're calling it. The Rams in week 2, after traveling to Detroit, they got smoked by the Cardinals. The Buccaneers, after beating the Detroit Lions, they came back home versus Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. They lost. And then the Cardinals, when they played the Commanders, they lost 42-10. And then the Seahawks at home lost to the New York Giants 29-20. The Lions are a very physical team, so when you play a team the week after, you are just naturally more beat up. You naturally have more calluses already built up in that roster. So the Lions hangover is real, and that's why I'm calling it a trap game. But also this, Los Angeles is getting healthy. Now, a big reason why the Rams have struggled this season is because of no Kupp, no Nakua. They lost multiple starting offensive linemen, and they are getting healthy at the right time. And plus, you add this for the Vikings. It's a short week. You obviously got to travel on the road. It's not like you're traveling up to Green Bay or you're at home for this week. You're traveling across the country to Los Angeles. This is a terrible spot for the Vikings, but don't panic yet. I still have the Vikings getting a victory this weekend, and I'll explain that at the tail half of today's show. But let's deep dive on the Rams. Let's really get you guys everything you need to know about this football team in Los Angeles. Just won the Super Bowl a couple years ago with pretty much the same nucleus they have had of Cooper Kupp, Sean McVay, and Matthew Stafford. But this is how they've shaken out so far this year. Week 1, they lost to the Lions in overtime. I thought this was an incredible loss for this football team, but then they got dismantled by the Cardinals in week 2. Had a unbelievable victory versus the Niners in week 3. And then, unfortunately, they caught 2 tight losses to the Packers and Bears. I remember watching those games, hoping Stafford would have a game-winning drive. Unfortunately, could not pull it out. But this past week versus the Raiders, they got a much-needed victory. But a big reason why the Rams are 2-4 is because they have lost countless starters due to injury. I mean, you can start off, in my opinion, with I would probably say this is the best tandem of wide receivers in the National Football League, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. They were both put on IR. They both missed the last 4 games, and they are an integral piece to this offense. And when they don't have them, I mean, it is just tough to move the football. Then you also got Jonah Jackson, offensive lineman, Steve Avila, offensive lineman, John Johnson, a starting safety for this group. That's why I get to this point. Don't look at the Rams record thinking the Vikings, since they're 5-1, Rams are 2-4, they're going to head into Los Angeles, they're going to head into SoFi Stadium, and it's going to be an easy win. That is not the case. This is an extremely difficult game. And then plus on top of that, if you're the Rams and you're looking at the NFC West standings, you got a chance still to win this division. They're only 2 games out, and they already have a win over the Niners, so I'm sure they're looking at it like, hey, if we handle the Seahawks twice, assuming the Cardinals fall off a cliff, the Rams have a chance to win this division. They are going to give you their best game plan. It is going to be a hungry football team, and I am a little nervous about this game. But let's talk about the trio. My opinion, the best quarterback weapon head coach combo in the league. If the Vikings had a better quarterback than Darnold, like a Stafford, I would give that edge to them. But, man, Sean McVay, Stafford, Cooper Kupp, they're all on the same wavelength. They all understand each other. They have a great connection. They understand the game plan. But I will say this, Stafford has struggled a little bit this season. Now, when I say struggled, obviously you just look at the touchdown to interception ratio, like 3-4. That's not great for Staff. But, Stafford can still sling it. He is still an incredible quarterback. I think a big reason why these numbers are lower is because you don't have Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp in this offense. But if you guys forget how good Cooper Kupp is, back in that 2021 season, I think this is the greatest single season by a wide receiver of all time. My man Tex and I, before the show, we were saying, hey, remember when Cooper Kupp won Super Bowl MVP? That year he had in 2021, he was unbelievable. He went over 2,000 yards total, including the postseason, over 18 touchdowns. Like, he is truly one of the deadliest weapons in the league. And the connection he has with Stafford, it's special. Like, it really reminds me of old school Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, where they are all on the same page 100% of the time. And with Kupp coming back, and I should have said this earlier, I thought it was very interesting that the Rams kept Kupp out last weekend versus the Raiders, and now he's immediately ready to go versus the Vikings. I think the Rams were kind of rolling the die right there saying, hey, we don't need number 10 versus Las Vegas, but we need him versus the Minnesota Vikings. So I expect Sean McVay, he's going to hop in his bag. He's going to scheme up a whole lot of plays for Cooper Kupp. And I just can't wait to see tall Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, go against Sean McVay. It's going to be really, really incredible stuff. But let's talk about some injury news on the Vikings side of things. Now, obviously, it's going to be tough to determine who's going to play this week since the Vikings are just going to have walkthroughs at practice. So it's going to be a little hard to, understand who's going to be out there. But I don't know if I should say this. I do expect Hawk to be out there. Even though he did not make a season debut like we thought versus the Lions, still recovering from that ACL, maybe the Vikings said we don't want him playing 2 games in 5 days. So I'm expecting Hawk to be out there, but a guy I'm not expecting to be out there is Blake Cashman. And we saw, the hole in this defense against the Lions this past week. Like, the field just felt bigger. Like, the Vikings just felt a little less connected on that side of the football. And Cashman not being in the lineup is the reason for that. Like, he wears the green dot. He's the play caller. He's making the adjustments on the fly, even after Brian Flores gives him the play. So, Cashman, if he's not there, which is looking like that's going to be the case, it is going to be a huge loss. But I still think the Vikings offense, they got to be the reason you win this game. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But first, predict the score for me. I'll give you guys mine at the end of today's show. But Vikings-Rams this Thursday, what do you think the score is going to be? Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, we'll dive into my keys to victory here in a second, but first, got to give a massive shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. If you guys download the PrizePicks app and sign up today, you guys will get $50 instantly when you play just $5. Best part is, you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Now, PrizePicks is my favorite app to add any juice to a basketball or football game, whatever it is. PrizePicks just increases your viewing experience, and I make a lineup for damn near every single game I watch. So sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. And again, the best part is you don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So plug in that promo code CLNS, and you guys will get $50 for free when you just play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game. I got some bad news, some terrible news, some awful news for my favorite stat of all time. And that's why we kick it to key number 1 to beating the Rams. Win the turnover battle, but unfortunately, my favorite chat stat of all time, where the Vikings were 22-0 when they win or tie the turnover battle under Kevin O'Connell, it came to an end versus the Detroit Lions as both teams turned the ball over one time, and the Vikings obviously ended up losing. But still, point being, you take care of the football, you win that turnover battle, you should win this football game. Get rid of all the offensive penalties, just play a clean game. I fully expect them to get out of Los Angeles with a victory, but how will that happen? The Vikings win this game because the offense takes over. And, For me, number 2, I got an offensive takeover for the Minnesota Vikings. Like, I felt like against the Detroit Lions, offense had multiple chances to put that game away, even though the defense let 4 straight scoring drives go in the middle of that second and third quarter. They still gave them many chances to win that football game down the stretch. And the offense needs to win this one because the Vikings defense last 2 games has had 2 touchdowns. You cannot bank on that every single week. Turnovers, they're kind of fluky. Obviously, you want to give a lot of credit to the guys going out there and making plays, but you can't kind of rely on that, especially when you're going up against a Sean McVay, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford-led Rams team. That's not going to work. The offense is going to need to win this game. They're going to need to score 24-plus, in my opinion, if you want to handle the Los Angeles Rams. But speaking about defensively, what's going to be their MO in this game? It's going to be the running quick game. I guarantee you, Khyree Williams, they're elite, explosive back. They're going to try to get in the ball 20, 25 times a game. And when the run game's not there, they're going to go quick outs to Nakua and Kupp. And they're going to try to make men miss and turn a 3-yard out into a 7-yard game and stay ahead of the sticks. But the Rams aren't explosive. I want the Vikings to play overly aggressive in this game. Like, get everybody up on the line of scrimmage. Leave the safeties up at the line where you leave the top of the defense just completely clear. Have them beat you over the top. Have Kupp, have Nakua, hit a double move and take it to the house. Now, yes, Stafford, he can complete those. He's a hell of a quarterback, but I don't want the Rams just getting a groove where it's a 7-minute drive. Stafford out to Kupp. Oh, snap. Hand off to Khyree Williams. He's got 8 yards, and the Vikings are fighting an uphill battle defensively. Plus, with how smart Sean McVay is, I'm sure he's looking at this game like with Flores, and he's like, oh, you think he's the best defensive mind in the league? Watch this. So, Vikings defense, play aggressive, and overall, key to victory number 4, whole team's got to play aggressive. Like, I felt like the Vikings were almost scared to win that game against the Lions. Like, they were scared to kind of put, like, their foot on their throat a little bit and really finish them in that game. So, for me, I want the Vikings to play aggressive, and they should try and bury the Rams this week. Like, yes, I would be satisfied with the win. This is a tough spot for the Vikings for all the reasons we just talked about. But how good would a 34-10 win feel? Where then you start looking at the Vikings season as a whole, and you're like, oh, so we beat the Texans, Packers, Niners, Jets, lost a 2-point game to the Lions, but then we went and smoked the Rams in LA. That would be awesome. So play aggressive, take your chances on early downs when they are given, and I think the Vikings should be celebrating a 6th victory, Victory Friday, I guess, this week. But number 5 for me, we're going to call this Super Bowl swagger. What are you? Are you a playoff team? Are you a true Super Bowl contender? Are you a fraud? A lot of those questions will be answered on Thursday Night Football. Like, if you truly are a Super Bowl contender, you go on to LA and you win a game, even if it's ugly. But that gets me to my score prediction. I wanted my gut was really telling me to pick the Rams. But I still really believe in this Vikings team. I believe in the process. I believe in the coaching staff. I believe wholeheartedly that the Vikings are the better team this Thursday night. So I got the Vikings winning 20-17. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I could see this being 17-13, and we're all panicking. We're all watching that last fourth quarter, and we're saying, man, are we about to drop this game to the Rams? Then hopefully Sam Darnold leads a game-winning touchdown drive. But, guys, I'm nervous. I am extremely nervous. But I still got the Vikes winning 20-17. I just think it's going to be a lot tighter than most people think. But, hey, if you guys want the Vikes to beat the Rams, give me a SKOL down below. And also a little programming alert. The Vikings did get flexed in the Sunday Night Football for Week 9. So, hopefully you're not heading into Sunday Night Football with a 2-game losing streak on your hands. I'm not calling this a must-win game against the Rams. But if you're a Super Bowl contender, yeah, I'm going to call it a must-win. Vikings got to get it done this weekend. But also, I'm on Twitter, @PatSeeps right there. Give me a follow, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. See you guys next time. SKOL Vikes.